What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. So for today's video, it's coming to you by one of the requests that we received by one of our members within TechBot Solutions. His name's Matthew, and he asked if I can do a video where I could screen share and show everything that I look into when analyzing a stock and the whole, thought process before I actually buy in. And I'm not just answering the question of but I think one of the biggest hesitations when you actually have your real money, you can do simulation trading for a while, right? But the whole mechanics and the whole emotional aspect of when you have your actual money and you choose to invest it, you actually, you can get scared. So what's my whole thought process and how do I justify a stock as a good buy? And that's really what I want you guys to focus on. When it comes to investing, right, you really need to have a plan. And when it comes to investing in penny stocks, when it comes to investing in any type of market, you have to have a plan to be successful. And you can kind of use the same concept of having a plan, support, resistance, stop loss, in any real market when it comes to choosing to invest and trying to make a profit. If you can minimize loss and promote growth, that's really how you're going to be successful. And that's one of the things that we emphasize in TechBot Solutions. So again, TechBot Solutions is a free group that you can all join. The link is provided for you down below. The link is going to be for the Facebook platform, and within that platform, there's going to be the group chat platforms where, depending on what kind of investor you are, there's the general group chat, the swing trading group chat, there's pre-market movers group chat. There's a bunch of different group chats that you can join that can best fit your need, right, in the type of market that you're trying to get into. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I am going to start sharing my screen. One of the most common stocks that I've been trading this week and within the weeks because of how much it's dropped is NUGT. And I'm going to talk about my thought process and how do I justify NUGT, to be a good buy at a certain price based on what I know about NUGT and what indicators I use to label, NUGT at $7.60 a good buy. When it comes to trading any stock whatsoever, I always have a, support. I always identify a support. I always identify a resistance, and I always know where I'm going to set my stop loss. Every single time that I go into a stock, I know where I'm buying, and that's going to be at or near the support. I know where I'm selling, that's going to be at or below the resistance, and I know where I'm stop lossing out. For my own, personal experience, I like to stop loss out right below the support, just in case it breaks the support, I can jump right in at that lower level support. And if you guys do not know what support or resistance levels are, there is a video under my YouTube channel under helpful videos that will explain and elaborate a little bit more on what support and resistance levels are. But that is going to be one of the key components on being able to perform your technical analysis on these stocks and be able to be successful and being able to identify that potential. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to tell you about my whole game plan with NUGT, and that's pretty much it. I did end up trading it today. I'm not too sure if I'm going to publish this video today, but I've been trading it all week, and I've been buying almost at the same price repeatedly and selling at the same price repeatedly. And a lot of you have been mimicking, if not just following and identifying yourself, this specific trade, because you guys have seen my previous successful trades with NUGT and my success of identifying it as a good buy. And I think one of the hardest things as an investor is to actually decide to jump into stock, especially when you're starting out. There's always that fear of well, I'm not really sure, it's moving a lot, how do I know when to get in? And I hope this video really explains on how you can justify to yourself by having this plan that you're managing your risk. And again, that's one of the biggest quotes that we're having this week, to know how to manage risk. Alrighty guys, so with NUGT, so this one is still one that I'm trading today, so let's go ahead and refresh it and see where it stands. It's around $7.72 currently. I'm going to do a 5-day analysis to give you guys a better understanding on how NUGT has been playing out. When looking at NUGT let's do more of a 10-day analysis, because that can give us a better, understanding on where it stands within the past, 10 days. So as you guys can see, it's been, well above $12, and it's kind of plateaued here around $7.50. So with NUGT, based on how it's been playing out, there's been huge drops, and these huge drops are NUGT is a gold-based company. You should always know kind of like what the company is and how that market is doing. I have a good understanding on how it's been playing out. I can see that it's kind of been plateauing around $7.50, $7.60, and it's been kind of peaking out right around this $7.90 area. So I'm going to get a little bit closer. I'm going to do a 2-day analysis and see how it's been playing out. And again, these gray areas are pre-market and after-market hours. The white areas are actual, live time of market open. So what I see is that during market open, usually it holds, based on this 2-day analysis, well above $7.60. Usually hits a resistance around $7.93, and that's exactly how it played out today. If I'm not mistaken, the $7.93 is exactly where it hit about 3 days ago. And yeah, that's right. So it bounced at that 760, hit 793, and then came back down. So obviously that's a resistance, and this is a support. Hits that resistance during aftermarket hours, comes down during pre-market hours, hits that and bounces here at the support, rises back up, breaks above this, hits a new resistance at about, nearly a little bit above 810, but then doesn't hold very well above that, comes back down. So we know the resistance at this area is very strong. So as it continues to come back up and it continues to come back down. So being able to identify those trends. So when deciding to jump into a stock, you want to make sure that you're getting that in at a good buy point. So what I used to do is identify the support and the resistance, right? 760 being the support is usually where it bounces. 793 being the resistance is usually where it, starts to bounce back down. So understanding that is, as an investor, you want to ride it when it goes up. You're most likely going to want to catch it close or at that 760 area, but it has gone below 760, so you want to make sure that you see that upward momentum. So something that you can do with that is you want to make sure that maybe you don't have to catch it at that 760. You can catch it at 765, but making sure that you're catching it on the way up. And the way you can indicate that it's going up, there's different platforms that have this. You go to indicators, and I'm using the EMA, which is the exponential moving average, which shows kind of like the average of the volume and how these candlesticks are moving. So therefore, when these things are moving, when these candlesticks are moving up, so does that EMA, and it's showing signs of upward momentum. So usually when the candlesticks, and I'm going to put into 1 minute frequencies, when the candlesticks are above the line that's showing upward momentum, once they cross and the candlesticks are below this blue line, then that's showing downward momentum. And again, you can use this whole set of indicator to get a better understanding on how this stock is moving, if you should get in or get out. So again, catching it at the bounce, knowing that 760 is a good buy point because it usually tends to bounce at that area, I can identify this as a good buy point. So I know where I'm going to be buying around, and I know that it's going to be around 760. Where should I be selling, right? Again, before buying in, you should know where you're going to sell, because if you don't, then you're kind of just hoping for the best. And again, when it comes to trading, you don't want to be emotional. You don't want to hope for anything. So understanding the previous trends, that there was a resistance at 793, identifying 790 to 793 as a good sell point, that's key. So as the stock continues to rise, you can follow with the trailing stop loss, and so you can follow with the trailing stop loss. And the reason you would do that would be just all of a sudden, if there's a sudden dip, at least you can lock in those profits if you want to do that. If not, then you can just have your stop loss set at that. If you know that 760 is a good buy point, and based on its history, it doesn't usually go below 760. Maybe you can set a stop loss around 755, 750. So there you're minimizing loss and you're promoting growth, since your margin for profit is a lot greater. So I know where I'm buying, I know where I'm selling, and I know where I'm going to cut my losses. And if you want to be extra safe, then while the stock continues to rise, you can follow with the trailing stop loss. And if you guys don't know what that is, again, I do have a specific video designed just for that under helpful videos under my channel. And then that's pretty much my whole indication on how to identify a stock as a good buy. So being able to identify the support, the resistance, the stop loss. Once I understand, really what I'm trading, I really understand that based on the previous trends, 760 is a good buy point. I really understand that 793 is a good sell point, 790 is a good sell point, and I can use these different indicators like the EMA to show me and indicate upward momentum, and I have a stop loss. So, my overall loss, if I do all of a sudden, NUGT takes a dip, then I know my losses are going to be a lot less than my, potential for growth. So understanding that my risk, again, for risk management is very low, that my growth potential is a lot higher, and then I have a, different type of feature, as in the stop loss. Just all of a sudden, if it takes a dip, I at least lock in my profits with the stop loss. And understanding that, and truly understanding what it is that I'm investing, and being able to label it as a good buy, you're going to be able to prove to yourself as an investor that you're like, oh man, I really get this, right? I really get that this is a good buy. You have to be patient, and you have to understand and prove to yourself that you know how to indicate and see potential. And you don't have to go based on anyone else's opinion, because you're not going to feel confident, because you truly did not identify whatever it is that you got into as a good investment. And overall, to be a good investor, you as the investor have to be able to identify and see that potential. So being able to set up a game plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, identify the support, the resistance, and where you're going to cut your losses, again, just recapping, shows to you that you know where you're buying at because it's a good buy point, you know where you're selling at because it's a good sell point, and you know where you're going to be cutting your losses. If all of a sudden it takes a dip, meaning that your risk isn't really that much, although you might be risking to $1,000 and you're only risking 1%, then you're really only risking $10. And for a potential of being able to make $100, then that risk is, again, risk management is there. It's worth it for you, right? Because as an investor, you're willing to take that risk because you understand everything that's going on and all the different components that make it a good investment. So that is it. I hope you guys found my breakdown on how I justify before buying in, my whole thought process before buying in. It really comes down to having a plan. And when it comes to investing in anything, I truly believe, the only way you're going to be successful, not only in investing, but in, successful in anything. I think it's very overwhelming for someone that truly doesn't understand the market that they're in or whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. So trying to, achieve your goal is going to be not organized. And I think, a lot of you guys can vouch when you're not organized, you're kind of all over the place, right? And if you provide kind of like a proper game plan or an outline of how it is, every single time you invest or every single time you want to accomplish your goal, and you have a set of kind of just okay, this is where I'm going to start, this is my finish, and this is how I'm going to get there, that's going to be truly what's going to lead to your success. So I hope you guys again found this video helpful. If there's anything that you guys think that I can do to benefit you guys in any way, feel free to reach out to me. My email is provided for you down below. I'd really just like to receive emails from people that have specific questions. When it comes to more related questions about penny stocks and stuff like that, please just ask that in the group chat or in the Facebook platform. I've been receiving so many emails within my email that have been just repeated questions that I've talked about, I've made videos about. So I really just, if you guys can, take a second, look at my channel, see if there's anything there that you think can help you, and if not, then of course I'd love to help you guys out any way that I can. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing year. Let's continue to see growth in our accounts and end the year on a green note. Take care, guys. Baby, don't you let it go to waste.